Might be it.
What's going on, world? Jack of all spades, CLT, back like the McRib. As always, I am the beloved one, DJ Spellman. We got things differently today, so we're gonna hold tight Banks, doing Father's Day real big for Big Lloyd. But on my right, we have the pride of Africa, Ken Wabibi.
Yes, it is I, the pride of Africa, Ken Wabibi. Shout out to all the diaspora on this good Juneteenth.
Yes, yes. So hold tight, Jay Marlowe, aka Local 6. But we have a fan favorite. We have our sister Amaris running the cameras today, so we appreciate you.
Amaris.
Not Amaris. But today, our special guest for this podcast. She is from the land of the Apple Blossom Festival. We have Miss Taylor Robinson. How are you living today, madam?
I'm living well. Doing it good and doing it well.
Yes. So here we're all about bigging up the community, giving people their flowers. So we just want to say we appreciate you making time for us.
Well, I feel honored. Thank you. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. So how Banks will do this thing, he'll say first-time listeners, last-time listeners. You know how we do this thing. We give out our flowers. So for you, we have a rundown here, your stats. So you are from Carolina School of Broadcasting alumni, production coordinator for the Balto Creative Media. You are a content creator, audio engineer, project manager, relationships builder, and the best auntie in the game. Talk about that for a bit.
So great research to your team.
Big up Joe Goldberg and them boys.
Goldberg.
Yes, I was reading the question. I was like, wow, y'all really put in some thought and intention behind this. I didn't even know I did all these things. So I'm from Winchester, Virginia, home of the Apple Blossom Festival. I moved here to Charlotte in 2014.
Okay.
So I've been here since then, just kind of building up my resume ever since.
Word.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, what led you to your broadcasting career? And talk about the production coordinator, the good, the bad, the ugly side of all that.
That laugh.
Well, so broadcasting was kind of on a whim.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd been in and out of community college for multiple years back in Virginia here, and just never really had a sense of what I wanted to do. Didn't really ever have that pat down, and was driving on 85 and saw the billboard, like the Carolina School of Broadcasting billboard. I don't know if y'all seen it in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I always drove by it and just kind of had like a little inkling, like, I wonder what that's about. So I went and did a tour, seemed like a good fit, did my 2 years, and here I am. I enjoyed it a lot, learned a lot.
All right, so can you explain for the listeners, like the production coordinator?
Yeah.
What is some of like your job details and all of that?
So I take care of scheduling studio time, booking studio time, different guests for the different podcasts that we have on the Queen City Podcast Network that I work with, and running the soundboard, scripting sometimes, writing, emails, of course. You gotta love good old emails, and confirming studio time, guests, confirming guests for certain podcasts that we have on the network, different things like that. But it's a lot. It's a lot of different things incorporated in all of that. So it's something new, always something new.
Yeah, we've learned. We've learned in our little journey.
Never the same.
A lot of people just assume, in a podcast, you just come on, you speak into the microphone, and then it's ready to go out to the world. So can you enlighten Jack of all Spades Nation about those tasks that happen pre and post production to make a beautiful episode?
Yeah, so there is a lot that goes into it, pre-production and post-production, like you said. Pre-production, obviously scheduling guests, if you're going to have guests on your podcast, and it's not just the content creators of the actual podcast. So scheduling guests, what are you going to talk about? What's the subject? What's the topic? If you are interviewing someone like you are myself, you want to come up with points and certain things that you want to touch base on and not forget. There might be a list of things you can't talk about depending on who you're talking to that they don't want to speak on. What else is there? There's a lot. That's what I'm gonna say for pre. So I'm gonna cut that a little bit out.
We'll get you right in post production.
Thank you. So post production probably, I feel like is the hardest, and just cutting down what you want out of that episode. You know, if you got a talker that just talks and talks and talks, and you have a 30-minute podcast episode that you like to try to keep to that 30 minutes, and it went on for an hour, that's a lot of editing. So at that point, I would transcribe the episode so that I can actually read everything that was said, and then just mark out through what you don't want. And usually you have to collaborate with the person that is running that podcast, that does that podcast. You know, what do you not want in this? What do you want in this? Different elements that go into the episode, like intro music, outro music, accolades, all different types of stuff like that. And then posting it, publishing the episode, you've got to do that as well.
Yes, you just sparked something in me. So is there a program or app that you use to transcribe it, or do you just listen and write it, like type it all down?
No,
Okay.
yes, there's a website that we use that transcribes it. We do what was called a rough draft. It's like 25 cents a minute to transcribe it, or you can do like a actual full-on word for word, and yeah, we just do the rough draft.
Might need to invest in that for the YouTube.
So you said it's 25 cents a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. More money to add into the budget now. Goddamn. It's all good.
I think they have one that's 10 cents a minute, but it's very you gotta actually read and listen to it as you're reading the transcription, because they don't transcribe the words that well.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, well. Insightful. All right. So if people are unfamiliar with you and your work, you work heavily with the Queen City Podcast Network. So there's 33 podcasts on the roster. So do you support all of those podcasts in the same way, or what are some of the subtle differences?
So we do have 33 podcasts on the network. We have different producers and I guess employees that work with the different podcasts. I take care of about, I want to say 12 or 13 that I work heavily with, and I'm usually always there to record and run the soundboard, or just talking with to the podcasters what content they're trying to put out, what episode, because a lot of the times we record 2 or 3 episodes at a time, or they might record every week and they're only letting a podcast out bi-weekly. Yeah. So it's kind of, you got to be on top of all of that, and but it is different for each podcast. Some I'm more inclusive with, and some are just kind of on the surface. Mm-hmm.
Well, before I get to my next question, I want to ask your opinion on something. So podcasting been around for about, I want to say, the 1980s, and before it was called audio blogs, right? Mm-hmm. And then it didn't really take off until about 2004. Do you think eventually podcasting is going to usurp like regular television, to where everybody get their news, they get their entertainment strictly off of podcasts only, or you think traditional TV is going to be around for the long haul?
I think it's moving in that direction for sure. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm already kind of in that space, and I think it'll take a little longer for other people to be as well. But I do think that we are moving in that direction, just because I don't want to say TV is becoming obsolete, but with Netflix and Hulu and Paramount Plus and Disney Plus, and you know what I mean, it's kind of already moving in that direction. Yes, big up Disney.
And the reason why I asked that, because, you know, a lot of folks are more so on their phones as opposed to they're mobile. So they're not really at the home watching a TV. They're on their phone watching it, or, you know, on their laptop watching it. That's why I asked that question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And to that point, even when you're at home, you're mirroring what's on your device to your TV.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're casting it out already.
So let me ask this question now that YBB brought it up. So what are the podcasts that you're tapped into right now? Of course, after this episode, it'll be Jack of All Spades in rotation. But what are the podcasts that you enjoy right now?
There's this manifestation podcast. She's really small, but she is very inspiring to me, and I really like that. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and say Joe Rogan, just because I like to keep up with what these crazy things this guy's saying.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah. I got to keep up with that. And then really just podcasts on our networks. I do so much editing that it's like I record with the podcast, and then I edit it, and that takes up so much time. So really, it's just the podcasts on our network that I really work with, listen to.
Okay, so you have even produced podcasts in the front of your car, so I'm sure that was different. But what's the most difficult production problem you had to solve?
That I've had to solve. So one time, and this has never happened again, and I kicked myself for it. I was recording a podcast, and so our setup is we have our soundboard and we have it connected to our Mac. So one of the inputs was off, like was just not set up right, and it basically recorded, instead of recording through the board and through their mics, it recorded through the computer. So it just sounded
Terrible.
terrible. Yeah, it sounded awful, and it was bad. I felt awful. I mean, the person was super understanding and just like, this has never happened before. Like, we know you do good work. So it was okay. But that was probably my biggest problem to date, was just that, and I was just never will let that happen again.
Well, given that situation, did you have to re-record?
No, we just
let
kind
it
of
go?
trashed that.
Because that's happening. That's actually happening here.
Yeah, I felt so bad.
We recorded and it didn't actually record.
Exactly.
So when we got the mini SD, it was like no information,
on
no
it.
content.
Oh, where that though?
So technology and their issues.
Yeah, I blame it on technology. It wasn't me.
Before you go to the next question, I'm going to ask this. So since you edit, what do you use to edit with? What's your software?
Adobe Audition.
I got you. Okay.
But add it to the toolbox.
What do y'all use?
Well, I edit the video as well, so I use Premiere Pro.
Yeah, Premiere Pro as well when we do video.
Banks does the audio, so I'm pretty sure he used I want to say it's Logic Pro he used for the audio.
Oh, okay.
I wanna say.
Yeah. Well, I'm familiar with that.
Cool. All right. So as we continue on, so big up our sister Ohavia, so that you work closely with during CLT Shout. So how much fun was it producing that whole project?
It was fun. It was nice being around. I love Ohavia, by the way. Shout out to you, baby girl. She's amazing. But it was just nice seeing different people come into. We worked out of the Discovery Museum, out of the room down there, like right on right off the street, like with the big windows. You can just see uptown and everything. So that was a really cool landscape to work out of in. And it was just really cool meeting so many different people of the community, musicians, artists, community builders, just all different types of people. And that was probably the best part, I would have to say.
Okay, going a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
What was your personal favorite moment of the whole thing?
So Ohavia scaled what building was it? Ohavia scaled a building, like a 17-story building.
Word. She
Yeah.
got her Spider-Woman on. Get her Spider-Woman on. All right, sis.
That was it had to be my favorite moment, just watching her come down. Watching her go up and watching her come down was awesome. Yeah.
I'm gonna meet with her soon, so I got to tell her about that because I was not aware.
It was so cool.
Well, I want to get into a couple of Facebook posts here, and want to get your thought around them. So you have a quote here that you said, massive goals don't require massive action. They require consistent action. Can you speak on that, and what are the goals that you are working towards?
So I would say, and mind you, don't remember posting that, but
But it's there.
Look
It's
at
there.
me. Look at me. Sound all influential and stuff.
Well, go ahead.
So I feel like just, especially now, I just feel like a lot of people are hard on themselves when they're not pursuing their goals in the amount of time that they think they can. And I think instead of just putting all you have and just doing one big thing, you got to do a lot of little things to get to where you need to be. You know what I mean? And it's consistency that is going to get you to where your goals are and to the goals that you want to meet, instead of just kind of moseying along and then, you know what, let me do this and see how this works out. Let me do all these things and see how they work out. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that's going to get you to where you need to be faster than just doing one thing.
And then the second part of that question, what's the goal that you're working towards?
Oh, yes. Good goals. Right now, I'm just working on, it's a small goal, but just consistency, kind of going off that quote and just staying consistent and just being humble with myself and taking care of myself. And that is going to get me to where I want to be.
Oh, look, we got to go deeper. You said take you to where you want to be. So
Where do
what
I
is that?
wanna be?
What is that end goal? Like, what does it look like? Like you talked about in that podcast, manifestation.
Yes.
It's power in the words that you say. Yeah.
Correct.
So what is that end goal?
Make it so hard.
Of course. This is what we do here at Jack of All Spades.
Dig deep.
Right. No, I like that. I appreciate that. I honestly, I don't have a huge end goal in mind, so I'm gonna be cheesy and cliche and say happy. And just be
what
happy.
what is cliche about that? That should be the goal of everybody's life, to be happy.
Happiness.
Right. Not that I'm not happy right now. I'm happy. I'm content. But you can always be happier. You can always have more.
Correct.
More to scratch that. I don't know where I was going with that.
No. That's perfect. It's authentic. It's
Thank
honest.
you.
But I'm gonna keep it right here. Look.
Yeah.
So you talked about being happy. So let me ask this: what is a professional goal that you have then?
I guess just growing with the network. I feel like I've been doing that. Fun fact: I interned with the studio and the network first. I've just been kind of building since then. So I just want to grow with the network and really get it up off the ground. That's probably my goal right now.
So when did the network actually take off? Because I think I came across the knowledge of the network through Katie when we first initially started talking, and she was telling me, hey, she was a part of the network. I said, the network? What's the Queen City Network? I never actually heard of it. So for folks who haven't heard of the Queen City Network, who are not aware of the network, when they actually start taking off, where they're located, what can they do for you, the network?
Yeah, so my boss, Brian Baltashevitz, shout out to you. This is kind of his brainchild. He just kind of came up with it on his own. How long? I want to say it's been almost 5 years now that we've been in operation. It's about 2 years for me, but yeah, and we provide studio for you to record out of. We have a lot of podcasts on our network that we work with, and we also have clients that aren't on the network that we work with and produce their podcasts. So honestly, when you come to us, we can just have a studio for you to rent out. If you need editing, we can do that. If you need content creation, we can do that. We can book your guests. We can do a lot of different things. It really just depends on what the client client needs, and we just kind of work with what we got. Give you that.
Nice. Okay. We're gonna get back to this next Facebook post.
Here we go.
So this Facebook post reads, "I haven't heard your voice in years, but my heart has conversations with you every day." Now, who are those special people you were talking about in this post?
All right, here we go. So I was speaking of specifically my father and my granny, and they hold such a special place in my heart. And my granny would email me when she was working before she retired. I have thousands and thousands of emails. She would email me every day. And she would include inspirational quotes and a prayer. Like she would end each email with a prayer. So speaking on that Facebook post, it just kind of makes me feel like I can still feel her prayers from heaven. And it's like I can't see you, but I still hear your voice, and I feel like they're still with me. Especially my dad as well. He passed away when I was 14. I'm 29 now, so it's been a long time. But the love that they gave me and the love that I felt from them while they were here on this earth, I feel like I still feel that.
Gotcha.
That's deep, man. That's love.
Thank you.
All right, so of course, rest in peace to your father and your grandmother.
Thank you.
Somber moment, and then we hit you with this craziness, this foolishness that we like to do during
it.
transitions. So, through the research team, we found out that you have a love for pickles.
Yes.
You must break it down for Jack of All Spades Nation. What's that all about?
So
The
voice cracked. Just came into puberty. I have an infatuation with pickles, specifically Clausen pickles.
Okay.
Those are like the sandwich pickles that you get at the restaurant. You know what I mean? The ones that come with your sandwich on the side, the spears. I love pickles. I've always loved pickles so much that I would eat pickles with like weird things that you wouldn't think to eat pickles with.
Such as?
Like chocolate.
That's
Okay.
weird.
Or it gets weirder. Please, believe me.
Brace ourselves.
That's going to be on the OnlyFans version. That's the additional content.
I like to eat pickles. What do you want me to eat my pickle with today, guys?
Hey, make you $1 million.
I'll take it at this point. No, the weirdest thing that I've eaten pickles with, when I was little, like elementary school age, I would drink milk with my pickles. I wouldn't dip it. I wouldn't dip it.
Okay, no
I
dip
wouldn't dip it. But I really liked milk back then, and I was just like, oh, milk and pickles, that's just great.
Wow.
That's a lot of different things.
I wasn't
I'll
ready
eat
for that.
pickles with. Yeah, I just love pickles.
So where does that come from, though? Like,
I have no idea. I don't know. My mom doesn't like pickles. My dad didn't like pickles. I just like pickles. I don't know where I got that from. I think I was just with somebody at a restaurant, and I was like, can I have that pickle on your plate? They're like, yeah. And it just started from there.
well, Jack of all Spades Nation, you see Taylor out, you know what to get her.
Please offer me your pickle off your plate when we go to dinner or lunch.
All right. So, Taylor, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
So my granny would always say, growing up, to not grow up. She'd say, never grow up, Tay. And then I grew up, and she was like, I told you not to do it. I told you not to do it. Like, anytime I would come to her with an issue or a problem, she's like, I told you not to grow up. This is why you're having this issue, right? I'm like, yeah, I know. What can I do? Like, what can I do? So that's my biggest piece of advice. And just kind of piggybacking off of that, just always feel and be a kid. Like, it's okay to be a kid. You know what I mean? Enjoy the little things, the small moments, laugh, joke around. Don't take yourself too seriously. That's what I mean by never grow up. Yeah. Obviously, I'm an adult. I had to grow up. But
responsibilities in it.
Yeah, bills.
But message, though, never grow up. Like,
exactly.
Now, that's powerful.
Thank you.
Well, now, get to my next question over here. R.I.P. Machiavelli. Now, why did you name your dog after Tupac? And what's your favorite track from him?
Love, love, love Tupac. Always have. When I was younger, there's an amusement park. So, Carowinds?
Yes.
There's another one called King's Dominion, and it's in Virginia. You've heard of it? So we would go to King's Dominion all the time. It was about a 2-hour drive from my hometown, but we would go all the time. And I specifically remember overhearing a conversation between my mom and my uncle, her brother, and they were just talking about the whole East Coast, West Coast thing. And I was just like, what is this about? Like, you know what I mean? And then I would just kind of ask them about it. And they're like, yeah, we're Team Tupac. Like, I'm not going to say anything about the other contender. But we're all Team Tupac family, and we always have been. So I just grew up listening to Tupac and really having an admiration for him. And favorite track, that's hard. I'm going to say keep your head up. I'm going to say keep your head up.
That's a good track.
Yeah.
But yeah, King's Dominion, that's out in Williamsburg, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I went to college in Richmond, so I went out there a few times.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
That's
Big up
awesome.
King's Dominion.
Yes, gotta love King's Dominion. I've been in years. I really want to go back.
I've never been.
Yeah, I feel like it's better than Carowinds, but
I think so, too.
I could be biased.
I agree, 'cause I've been to both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, now before we get to the thing,
Go ahead, Wabi.
I cannot leave this question by asking this question. So your dog, what is his breed? Is it he or she?
It's he.
It's a he.
Yeah.
So what's his breed?
So Mac, I'm so sorry, Mac. I went straight to Tupac and was like, F his name. So I named my dog after Tupac. I always loved Machiavelli, like this how it sounds, how it spells, like how it looks when you write it down. So I got my dog, who was a blue nose pit bull. He was a blue nose pit bull, and named him Machiavelli. He just looked like a Machiavelli. It was like, you're Machiavelli, you're my Mac. And he passed away last year, and God rest his soul. I had him since he was a puppy. Oh. He was 11 years when he passed, and he's my ride or die. He was my ride or die. Went with me everywhere. I would travel. I mean, anywhere I would go, he would go with me.
Good old Mac.
Partly because he had really bad anxiety when I would leave, but
it's all love. It's all love. All right, so Taylor, we have now reached the most popular segment of Jack of All Spades Nation. We like to call it Top 5 Dead or Alive. So shout out Jada Kiss, Styles P, Sheesh Loose, The Locks. So Miss Taylor, you already know what's coming. You have this affinity for Disney.
I do.
So what are your top 5 Disney movies?
This was really hard. I just want to preface by saying that. So, just want to say, I love every Disney movie before I answer this. Every single one. I love them.
I gotta hear this.
But if I had to go, and I'm gonna go in order from like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Bold. Okay.
All right. Number 1.
1. Wait, go from 5 to 1.
5 to 1?
With the
Yeah.
intensity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good call, already.
I like that. I like that. So number 5 is gonna be Aladdin.
Okay, Aladdin.
Number 5 is Aladdin. Number 4.
Wait, time out. But it's not only number 5, Aladdin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 5. Shout out to Robin Williams. you're number 5. So number 4 would be Mary Poppins. And that's one that when I was thinking of this that I had actually left off the list, and I was like, God, like, why did you do that? That was that Mary Poppins is the first movie that I watched over and over and over and over and over again, like in the VHS and the VCR, over and over and over again, every night when I go to sleep. That's another weird fact about me is that I need the TV to fall asleep. Ever since I was like a baby, like at first it was car rides that would put me to sleep, and then it was
The TV.
the
VHS,
TV.
yo.
And my mom was like, "Oh, we just gotta pop a movie in for her, sure." Like that's great. So that was the first one, was Mary Poppins. Number 3, I'm going to say Lion King. This was hard too. Lion King.
That's my favorite.
I feel like it's matched between 2 and 3, but we're gonna go with 3. We're just gonna go with 3.
All right.
Number 2 is Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
Love
okay.
Peter Pan. Love Tinkerbell.
We'll never grow up.
Never grow up. Yeah. Yeah. Love Peter Pan. And number 1 is Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in the Wonderland.
Yes.
Can we get an explanation as to why that is number 1?
Honestly, because Alice just lost in her own little world, and that's kind of how I feel sometimes. And I could always relate with that. And just kind of, I just always wished I had a place I could go like that, like go down a rabbit hole and just escape, and then just come back to real life for a little bit. Would love that. What is my favorite quote from that? I cannot explain myself because I'm not myself, you see.
I do have a follow-up question, though.
Yeah. hit
So
me.
with the top 5, there were none of like the newer Disney
Not of
movies.
all
So
those
you're not a big fan of the new version?
I'm a classic girl. I am.
Classic.
I like Frozen. I like Encanto. They're great, but I got to stick with the classics. You know, I'm a
Gotcha.
90s baby. I like the old ones.
Well, Jack of all Spades Nation, once she leaves her you can send her all the hate mail for the top 5.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Wait,
But,
let me ask you.
go
a question,
ahead.
though. What's your favorite Disney movie? This one. The
Brother,
favorite.
y'all know I don't watch no movies.
Shame.
Shame.
Look, I ain't even gonna embarrass myself with my sister right here, but she already know what I want to say. But favorite Disney movie. Now y'all know I love talking, and when I have nothing to say,
That's a big thing.
Can you think of one?
I can think of many. To say what's my favorite, I honestly,
Do you have a favorite movie?
let's just go
general?
Aladdin. Let's just go Aladdin.
On Aladdin.
Let's go Aladdin.
Aladdin.
I'm mad at it.
That's a good one. It's a classic.
I'm Lion King all day,
Oh.
every day. I watch Lion King.
Why? Just because Africa?
No. I'm biased, but no. I want to tell you why. Because I remember the first time I watched Lion King. Right, we were in elementary school. Teacher put it on the VCS, big ass TV. Right, we were watching Lion King. Me and my best friend Chris Kinley. Shout out Chris Kinley.
Shout out.
Back in the, I've talked to him a long time, but my first best friend. Right, we were watching Lion King. We all into the movie. It gets to the part where, of course, Mufasa's about to get dropped. Right, he gets dropped, and then I got a tear in my eye. I look to my right, and then Chris is crying. Like, you know what? This is the movie. And ever since that day, I begged my mom to buy the VCS tape for me, the VHS tape for me. She bought it for me. I got it to this day. It's in my mom's crib.
That's special.
But yes, I watch it over and over and over. I have my son watch it. We watch the little Lion King spinoffs.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's dope.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Pull the curtain back a little bit. All right, so Taylor, can you please shout out all your social media handles for the people?
Yeah, so on Instagram, it's the Taylor Robinson, or the Taylor Robinson. The just sounds better. And then on Twitter, it is Taylor with a total of 3 R's, OXO.
3 R's.
Yeah, 3 R's, Taylor OXO. And then Facebook, Taylor Robinson.
All right, so there you have it, Jack of all Spades Nation. You've heard the wise words, and now you know where you can find her. So, as we do, you know where you can find us, Jack of all Spades CLT on everything. Big up Anchor.fm for the reason you can find us at places like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Once again, gracias mi hermanita Amaris for the audio and the visuals that you can find on YouTube.
Amaris.
Not Reese's Pieces.
Not Reese's Pieces.
And as always, I Heartbreaker, because y'all do some wonderful things. But as always, I am the beloved one.
This is your boy Ken Wabibi. Shout out to everybody, the diaspora. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Father's Day.
Yes, David Sr., big up, sir. I'll see you in a little bit. And of course, Taylor Robinson. Are there any parting words that you want to leave Jack of All Spades Nation?
Just that y'all are amazing, and I thank y'all for...
Stop it. No.
And I thank y'all for having me. This was really cool.
Once again, it's not about us. No, to quote our brother Skinny J, it's never been about us. It's about the friends.
Correct.
No doubt. But Jack of All Spades Nation, you know how we close this thing out. One time for a Tribe Called Quest. Rest in peace, Fife Dog, a.k.a. Malik Taylor. Tell your mother, tell your father, send a telegram. And we out.